What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. Today we're talking about the 1998 Cardinal WWF Trivia card set. This is part 1. Stick around. This set is the second version, the first being the 1997 version. I did a whole video series on all those cards. You can go check that out there. Many people now view that 97 set as iconic. Now that being said, it's really heavily carried by 3 cards, that being the Rocky Maivia rookie, the first Stone Cold Steve Austin card in a set, and the Triple H rookie. The 98 set is very similar to the 97 set, and in some cases identical, which we'll get into as we get through these videos. But let's look at some of the comparisons. As you can see, the cards are the same size, some examples, and the colors and the backs seem to be a little bit different. The boxes are also very similar, which could be confusing when you're buying these. And here's an example. These boxes have the same box art on the back, as well as the same cards from the 97 set, but one says 98 on them. And so some people may be thinking they're buying one, but they're actually buying something else. So just be careful when you're buying these boxes. There are also a couple different styles of the boxes from this 98 set. They had a metal tin version, which was a smaller compact container, and then they had the traditional long box. Both of these 98 sets of the metal and the long box I just talked about, they did have exclusive artwork, so they were a lot more, I guess you could say, like you could identify them a lot easier than you could if you were looking at those two sets that was one on 97, was one on 98. They both had similar artwork. Like, both of the sets are also similar in that they have right around 30 cards. The one thing the 98 set doesn't have that the 97 set has going for it is the lack of true rookies or first cards. I did a whole video on rookie cards and wrestling and how those intertwine. It can be confusing, so hopefully go check that video there and it'll bring you some value. Hopefully navigate you through the world of first cards, rookie cards, XRCs, whatever you want to call them, in professional wrestling, because it's very tough. It's very comparable to baseball. Again, watch that video. I talk about it there, but it's not as easy as it is if you go out and buy like Panini Prism or Optic or something where it has the rookie card logo on it and you know that's what it is. Here's the real issue with this 98 set. At the same time, 1998, you had Comic Images put out the Superstars or the Duo cards. Like, they always have a bunch of different names. But it's the 1998 Comic Images set that WWF put out. And those were in packs. They had on-card autos, pack pullable first cards of The Rock, Steve Austin. Well, you had the 95 WCW main event, but this was the first WWF product that's pack pullable of Steve Austin, of Triple H. You know, I know he had magazine cards and whatever, and the game cards. But again, most people look at the pack pullable product as the true rookie. So if those are coming out in the same exact year that this trivia game card set is coming out, most people are going to lean towards the pack pullable product. But then you get into the distribution, rarity, scarcity. You know, wrestling cards are lower on the totem pole in the world of sports cards to begin with. I personally don't remember seeing a lot of these Comic Images packs out to buy at stores, at Walmart, Kmart, Target, whatever, at that time. But then you look at the trivia games. I didn't see a lot of these trivia games. So the trivia games may actually be even more rare than the 98 cards. So really what it boils down to on these is the market's dictating what card you should buy. David Peck always says, buy everything. I'm also a fan of buy everything. There's a lot of really cool key cards in here, but if you're wondering, like, why is the Steve Austin, The Rock card, the Gold Dust Mankind, Triple, whatever's in the set that you're interested in, why is that card lower than a specific card in the same year or around the same time? And these are just a few reasons why. And before we get into part 1 of this card set, I just want to throw out again about the rookie card thing. I'm not going to make a lot of references to, hey, this is his rookie card, this is his first card, unless it truly is, because there's a lot of cards in this set that, yes, it is their first year of having a WWF product card, but it maybe is not their true rookie card, or we don't really know. There's a debate about that. And I'll kind of touch on that a little bit, but I'm not going to list that on every card, so just a heads up as we get into the cards. But speaking of the cards, let's get started. Al Snow with head. Really cool card here. He looks completely insane, which matches his gimmick. I remember first seeing this gimmick when he had a short stint in ECW, had that main event at WrestlePalooza 98, which technically is the first wrestling pay-per-view I ever spent all of my hard-earned money on. So that main event was fun with him and Shane Douglas. But anyway, great card. 1998 marked the first year of Al Snow WWF cards, but he did have a card previously as Avatar in the WWF. China. Cool card, and that brings up the point of these kind of posed photos. Like, they went to Kmart to get their family portraits done, kind of posing is what I'm talking about.
Kmart, 74 portraits for $12.95.
Really like it. It reminds me of the 82-83 All-Star set when it was just a, static headshot image of the guy. Now, I like these pictures better than the 83 All-Stars, but same concept of just basic posing, D'Lo Brown. The one thing I love about this is that chest protector gimmick. And, a lot of times I think these cards kind of bring us back to points in wrestling. Maybe this specific D'Lo Brown card isn't the greatest looking card. Maybe D'Lo Brown's not a transcending superstar, like, this card's not the Hogan rookie or the Rock rookie or whatever. But when I look at this card, it brings me back to the Attitude Era. It brings me back to a time when heels would use gimmick and gimmick injuries as wrestling props. So you had D'Lo Brown doing the frog splash with the chest protector because he had the chest injury, but in actuality, it's supposed to hurt the guy when he does the frog splash. You had Cowboy Bob Orton with the cast. That guy's still wearing this cast a million years later. He's still working on that arm injury. But secretly, if he needs to do it, he can give you the business with that arm.
Back. He's giving them business down there.
Next card, Draws. And when I look at this card, right off the bat, all I can think of is the movie Beyond the Mat.
He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
This also reminds me of his short stint in ECW prior to going to WWF. And I've seen a lot of Draw's interest in his football cards pick up when he played for the Broncos. I think it's like early 90s Bowman, set 93 maybe. You can go check those cards out if you would like. But I always loved Draw's as a fan. I even liked when he joined LOD later on. It's too bad what happened to him in his match with D'Lo, but, that's part of wrestling, I suppose. Next card, Edge. Young Edge with his super cool Oakley glasses, I think those are the Oakley glasses. They were really popular at the time. I'm pretty sure I had a pair as well when I played baseball. Anyway, loved Edge when he first came out. Loved this time period. Loved when he was with the Brood, teaming with Christian early on, like against the Hardy Boys kind of stuff. As his career went on, I became less of a fan of Edge. I'm not taking anything away from his work. I don't know what the deal was. I just wasn't as much of a fan as his when he was like Rated R Superstar, and then last year's WrestleMania when he battled Randy Orton. I don't know what it is about him. I just wasn't as much of a fan when you got later into his career, but pretty cool card. Next card, Farouk. Nothing really special about this card or standing out. He had several cards before this as Ron Simmons, maybe even a couple of Farouk cards when he had that kind of gladiator look that he was going for, which I don't know what that was all about, but Sonny was his manager. I remember that. I'm like, oh, that's Ron Simmons. Anyhow, nothing really stands out too much about this card because he's had so many in the past. Gangrel. Now, this is a card I can get behind.
One thing and one thing only. Now, get your hands off my woman.
Love the character. Love the gimmick. During the Attitude Era, I was kind of gravitated to darker characters. I'm a huge metal fan, as a lot of you know. So maybe that had to do with it. I'm not as into like the gothy stuff, which Gangrel was, but I think it was just that it was something different. We hadn't seen this crazy vampire character with like a vampire shirt, the white lacy style shirt, drinking blood, spraying it all over the place. We hadn't seen a lot of that before in pro wrestling. I mean, sure, we've seen blood, but not like this. This guy was different, had the fangs, everything. Just love the character, love the gimmick. I love this card. Unfortunately, we can't call this a rookie card. It was one of his first WWF cards, sure. But he did have a card in the 1997 BBM set as Destruction. The Godfather. Cool card. Love the static image. That being said, wasn't ever the biggest Godfather fan. I know, like, teenage boy, and you don't want to see the Godfather coming out with his hose and 420 reference. Like, I don't know why. I just, that wasn't for me. I would have rather seen death matches and gratuitous violence. I don't know. Just different part of my head's messed up, apparently. Again, that being said, I did like him as a wrestler. I love Papa Shango even more, the Fighting Machine, Supreme Fighting Machine. Where was his UFC run during this time? Who knows? But I love, and then his time with NOD, like when he was just in Nation of Domination. All of those characters I love, just wasn't the biggest fan of The Godfather. So remember when I said this set can get a little confusing and there's misprints on the years and you don't actually know what you're buying? Well, here's an example with this Gold Dust card. And I actually should have said this when we came across the Farouk card. And that's the fact that they use the same exact image on the 97 cards and the 98 cards on some of these cards. So here's our second example in Gold Dust. We had Farouk, we have Gold Dust. And if you look, the pictures are exactly the same. The only differences are the backing, different colors, and different numbers as they correlate to the game. Damn. So while I love Gold Dust, and I think this is an okay card, it's kind of lazy in my opinion, maybe lack of quality control from the company putting it out. They just wanted to rush it out. Not really having collectors in mind, just like, hey, we'll throw this same picture on here we used on last year's set, and it'll take off just like last year's. I don't know, but kind of a letdown. And the 10th card in this set, in today's video, is the Headbangers. I love the Headbangers. Talked earlier about how I was a big, still am, metal, punk, hardcore fan. So when these guys came out and they're wearing Misfits shirts, White Zombie, any other kind of crazy metal shirts, and they're dancing around, you know, stage diving, mosh pit, whatever, their piercings, I ate it up. I love these guys. In this picture, they're wearing their own t-shirts. I don't know if that was a, like, copyright thing. Maybe they couldn't get pictures they couldn't get the rights to the pictures to have certain bands, you know, images or logos on there. Or maybe Vince just wanted to own it. He realized, hey, I'm going to have to pay White Zombie. Who the heck is White Zombie?
Who the hell do you think you are?
That's it for part 1 of the 1998 Cardinal WWF Wrestling Card set. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this set or any specific comments I made. Hit the video on the screen to check out more wrestling cards. Give me one of these, hit subscribe, and I'll see you there.